It is time for Ansar's Party Line today for your Thursday. That's November the 7th, 2019. Ansar's Party Line is brought to you by Wimmer Opticians of St. Cloud, Atlas Family Chiropractic, Wade Park, CHI Health at Home. My name is Brad Melke. Good morning. We have some sunshine here in Albany, some sun. It's not doing its job very well today because we're at 14 right now. West winds at 6. Should see a high today according to the forecast of about 24, but lots of sun. Today, down to 13 tonight, cloudy or at least partly cloudy. And then overcast and 36 tomorrow for your Friday. Tomorrow night down to 26. Maybe some snow changing to rain on Saturday, high 42. But sunshine currently and 14. My name is Brad Melke. Good morning. With me in studio from the Soil and Water Conservation District. I had to remember where you guys are from, for one thing. We got Dennis Fuchs, administrator with the Stearns County Soil and Water Conservation District. We have Chris Hogge with us, district conservationist from the NRCS. And we also have two other what's the plural of that? Conservationists? Is that how you say that?
Yeah, that's
just like that?
Yeah, Brad, you are right, spot on.
No, I'm not. You're just being kind. I have Nathan Brandt with us in studio and also Kelly Molitor. Nathan and Kelly will be our focus for the first portion of the program. Welcome, everybody. Boy, don't be so enthusiastic. My goodness. Wow. Nathan, are you the newest person at the whole business office there?
Yep, I've been here about 3 weeks now.
3 weeks.
I was working for NRCS up in Bemidji and started down in Wade Park mid-October.
So this is not your first gig. You've been doing this for a while.
No, I was in Bemidji for about 6 years.
Okay.
So
what brought you here?
Promotion, a little closer to some family. I got some friends in the area. Ready for some new challenges down here.
And don't forget to mention it's just a great place to work, and you love Central Minnesota.
Hey, talking to the mic, Dennis, would you? Or let Nathan speak. Come on. So how is it different from working at this office than your previous office?
The farming practices are different. There's more beef cattle up north. There's some wild rice. There's some different farming techniques up there. And it's a little more intensive agriculture down here. So that's kind of some fun stuff to work with.
So as a soil conservationist here, what have been some of your specific tasks so far? And what do you hope to accomplish?
So far, it's just been kind of reviewing some of our existing contracts we have with folks, reviewing what they've been doing out there in the field, and getting them paid, kind of through some of our incentive programs. And as I get to know more folks, it'll just be working with them to take steps to further soil and water conservation in the area.
Even though there's a slight difference of working here compared to your previous your job, is it still a challenge to kind of, set your, get established is what I'm trying to say. Get into the office and get into the swing of things, being new.
Yeah, there's always a little bit of a learning curve, kind of learning these new farming techniques and different practices that folks are doing around here. But in general, what we do is the same across the country, our programs, kind of our methods of doing things. So I was able to kind of come in and hit the ground running.
Okay. So you do work closer with Chris or do you work closer with Dennis?
Closer with Chris.
Chris.
Yep.
How's he doing, Chris?
I think he's doing a really good job for just coming into the county. We have a really diverse and complicated workload in Stearns County. We have a lot of dairy, basic cash crop farming practices. We also end up with wildlife habitat and forestry. And that's just to name just a few. We've got water quality projects going on. We have trainings and other things that are other opportunities. Kind of Wade Park's kind of the center part of the state, so it allows it will allow Nate to learn a lot of different things that are going on in Minnesota.
All right, let's talk a little bit with Kelly Molitor, also another soil conservationist. Kelly, how are you? And where did you work previously, or is this your first job?
I'm doing good. This is my second job working in the soil and water. I came from Benton County, and I started at Stearns in mid-September, so I've been working there for about a month and a half.
So you didn't go too far.
No.
from one position to the next?
No.
So what are you doing as far as your responsibilities?
My focus is going to be kind of on irrigation, water management, working on cover crops, nutrient management, and probably some grazing.
Okay. I didn't ask this to Nathan. I'm going to come back to Nathan. But why did you choose the career you're in right now?
Well, I grew up on a dairy farm and have always been interested in the outdoors and working with agriculture, and this seemed like a great fit. So.
And right now you've been there how many months, weeks?
Well, couple months almost in
Okay.
Stearns.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now does this mean, since we have Kelly, who's fairly new, and also Nathan, Chris, and Dennis, we were talking about staffing last time we visited. So are you set now? Do you have enough employees? Is everybody ready to go?
Actually, no. For NRCS, we still have an opening for a minimum of one more staff
Okay.
and potentially a pathways intern, so a college student. So
Okay.
those two would be still could be opening here in the near future. And then we also have opportunities for any kind of Earth Team volunteer type of individual who's interested, just to kind of get their feet wet, to kind of see what they're doing, and gives them an opportunity to get out in the field and work in the office and see what things are like.
So you need another soil conservationist as well? Is that what you said?
Yep, another
Okay.
soil con, and then another pathways, and that pathways is kind of a way for college kids to get into the agency, and it's kind of a system that the NRCS has developed to help them do that.
Okay. I'm going to jump back to Nathan. Nathan, why did you get into the career you're in right now?
Well, like most of the folks in this career, I've always been interested in kind of environmental stewardship. Went to Bemidji State University and started interning with the Forest Service up there, and eventually fell into this role with NRCS. I like their motto and kind of what they work for, helping people help the land, and it just ended up being a good fit for me.
Okay. So we've got Nathan Brandt once again, Kelly Molitor, Dennis Fuchs. How are you, Dennis?
Good. I was just going to say for the SWCD, Kelly is filling the spot that was vacated when Brad Wenz retired. And Katie Breath, who used to work in our office, moved over to the Minnesota Rural Water Association. So we do have a vacancy there, and we are working on filling that. We have identified a candidate, and if the board approves at their next board meeting here on November 13th, we should have that position filled also. So then we'd be at full steam ahead.
All right. You got so much other stuff you want to talk about too, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah. We're going to talk a little bit about our Conservation Tillage Conference coming up. And we also had the Kearns article in Country Acres. I know that's a central newspaper, Central Minnesota newspaper that a lot of people probably saw. One of our staff people there, Mark Lefebvre, on the cover. We can talk a little bit more about that too. And also our convention's coming up too. My gosh, that's coming up here in December. Our big
Hey,
annual
next
convention.
month.
Yeah, that's like holy cow.
Yeah, exactly. So when is that? In mid-December?
Yeah,
Okay.
the convention will be coming up here. Actually, that's going to be December 8th through the 10th, and that's an opportunity for us to recognize our outstanding conservationists, which this past year our board selected Galen Wilczek. He lives north and east of Holdingford, a poultry producer out there, and he's doing a lot of great things, and he's hoping to join us down there and be recognized on Tuesday by the Farmer Magazine, Paula Moore, and along with every other soil water conservation district in the state of Minnesota, they recognize their outstanding conservationists.
All right, Conservation Tillage Conference, December 17th, 18th at?
That'll be at St. Cloud,
At the
and
Hall
we'll
again?
dig into that a little bit more after
Okay.
the break, because that's a huge deal having
Huge.
that. Yeah, having that here in central Minnesota is the first time it's been here. So we want to get a lot of farmers out there to listen to some folks that are making less tillage happen.
Okay.
You got to go to a break now?
Well, I've got 50 seconds if you want to chirp anything within 50 seconds.
Well, we're just excited to have the new staff here in the office. Kelly, with her background in farming and with her experience at the Benton SWCD, we kind of kid my counterpart there, Jerry Machi. They're our farm team, but Jerry does a great job of managing that office over there and getting his staff training along with his board. And Kelly's been able to hit the ground running. And I haven't had a chance to get out in the field with her, but some of the staff have, and they gave me 2 thumbs up with her skill level. So we're impressed, and we're happy to have her on our team. And Nate, I don't know much about him yet. I'm still getting to know him. And it's been just, I've been out of the office, and he's been busy, and we just haven't had a chance to really connect. But He's got great background, great personality. I think the farmers out there are really going to enjoy working with these two people. So come on in the office and talk about your resource concerns with these two people, and they'll get you headed in the right direction.
Perfect. News time, 9:30. It's Chasm Radio. More Answers Party Line coming up. More Answers Party Line continues here on Chasm Radio from the NRCS. Kelly Molitor, Chris Hogge, Nathan Brandt from SWCD. We have Dennis Fuchs. Chris, let's talk stuff you know, like equip and cover crops and why you didn't shave and that kind of thing.
Well, good morning, Brad. How you doing today? And yes, you're right. It is no-till November, so that's we're promoting no-till basically in the center part of Minnesota here. So if you get an opportunity, it's something that you can try. We're out. I know it's been a difficult fall for harvest this year, but while you're out doing your harvest and your tillage, it might be something that you're looking at, kind of what you see, what potential issues you might have. If you're bouncing your combine through a rut or a grass or a...
Where are you driving?
It'll come to you.
It's been a long morning. I've been going since 6 o'clock this morning, 5:30. But if you're bumping a combine through a place that's it's eroded, a femoral gully, then that might be a place where our office or our staff can meet you out in the field, and we can look at it and see if we can do some survey design work to get a grass waterway established there, or maybe we could do some 638s, which are water and sediment control structures. Those are opportunities, and then we have incentive options for folks that could help with getting those things implemented and established in the field. Some other things that you can look at when you're driving through is areas that might be possibly wet. If you got a wet hole on your farm that you just didn't produce crop, has standing water in it, that could be a CRP option for folks. So again, stop in the office, see what kind of opportunities you might have for those. We're working with a number of folks on cover crops and no-till and irrigation. If you're looking at, we didn't really run many of the irrigators this year, but if you're looking and have irrigators and you want to, update those with low pressure, or you want to get monitors for your soil moisture, those are opportunities we also have through the EQIP program. It's something that producers can sign up for. We don't have any established deadlines, but if you are interested or you see any of those kind of resources that are that need to be addressed, you come on into the office, and we can get an application started, and you can start working towards that. One thing, if you've got CRP opportunities, CRP is probably going to open up sometime in December, I think we have heard. And so that would bring in opportunities for filter strips, wetland restorations, basic grass planting, so something that you might look into also. Another thing we got going on this year, or this winter, is this is about the time for all the trainings and workshops and things for producers to come out and kind of see how see what other folks are doing and how they're working through that, and if it's successful or not successful. So when you get an opportunity to do to some of these trainings, like the conservation tillage workshop or conservation tillage convention, then you can come on out and see what other folks are doing.
That's a good point, Chris. So if you're out there and you're listening to Chris while you're working out in the field, and you're like, gosh, dang it, if I had one less thing to do in the fall, that'd be great. I could focus on some other field operation that needed to be done, like hauling manure or taking care of grain drying or moving corn out of the field or getting these soybeans off over here. And if I could just reduce that amount of tillage and still maintain my yields, that's what I'm after. I want to maintain my yields and maybe even improve my soil health. There's a way to do that. And I'm not going to tell you how to do that, but we have a conservation tillage conference where they have invited farmers from central Minnesota and Canada, where it even gets colder than Minnesota, on how they are making this work. So you don't need to listen to Dennis Fuchs, how to reduce your tillage. No, you're going to be listening to somebody from Canada or Minnesota, and they're going to share how they're making it work. And you're probably wondering, well, gosh, dang it, that does sound pretty doggone interesting. I wonder when that's going to be, that conservation tillage conference. Well, I'll tell you when that's going to be. That's going to be coming up here in the middle of December 17th and 18th. And you're probably thinking, what, do I got to drive to Fargo to get there? No, for the first time ever, we have it right here in St. Cloud. I mean, if you're not getting excited about this, I don't know what's wrong.
It is a good opportunity for farmers in the middle part of the state to come to this, because usually it's where Fargo and Moorhead.
Yeah. And you're probably going, why should I attend? Well, this is what we have in the brochure. Roll up your sleeves for some practical, hands-on information for improving your soil's health. And when I say that, now I'm moving off the script here. When I say that, improving your soil health, that ultimately is going to improve your bottom line, because you're going to be able to store more rainfall when you need to. You'll be able to drain more water when you need to drain more water. You'll be able to be out on these fields because you have better soil structure. Your neighbors that do excessive amount of tillage will not be able to be out there, and you'll be able to drive through your field because you got better infiltration and better soil structure, and you can be harvesting when your neighbors aren't. But we'd like to see everybody harvest. So come on over and check this out. Let me get back on script. Reducing tillage and incorporating cover crops has been shown to build a resilient soil, which can buffer the crop from the weather extremes, reducing the risk of yield loss. This conference emphasizes proven farmer experience. I'm going off script here. That's farmer experience, not Dennis Fuchs experience, but actually farmers making this work, and applied science. Straight from the fields, learn how heavier, colder soils aren't necessarily the challenge they're made out to be. Hear from long-time no-till and reduced tillage farmers as they share their experiences so you can be spared the same hard-learned lessons that these people had to go through. So we're going to have speakers that, when we talk about the program, what is the first thing that we're going to talk about? Speakers include experienced growers. That is the most important component of this conference. We got growers talking to growers, farmers talking to farmers. We're going to have agronomists there and academic experts, but they're second. The first thing that we have on there is the farmer. And I heard that we're also going to have the millennial farmer, the Zach Johnson. He farms out in Pope County. He's got a YouTube channel, and there's a lot of followers. I actually checked some of his YouTube videos. He really does a nice job about talking about agriculture and some of the challenges that he and his family see throughout the growing season. And I saw the latest YouTube video where he's stuck out in the field like a lot of farmers have been this year. So he's going to also be there. And we do have a couple keynote speakers. We got David Loeb. He's from the University of Manitoba. See, I told you we were going to have people from Canada. And he's from Canada, Manitoba, and it's cold up there. Very, very cold. They like their bacon up there, too. Out that Great White North there, then. Research focuses on biophysical processes within landscape, particularly soil movement by tillage and tillage erosion. So his lab is the largest in Canada and second largest in the world for the assessment of soil erosion and sedimentation using radionuclides. God, I just love that word. It's like chasm nuclides.
Nuclides?
Yeah.
What is that?
I hope I said it right. And other methods. This area of research is known as fingerprinting. So I know when they did some nuclear testing that released an atom, nuclear radioide, and that when you put on the surface and you incorporate it, you can see time and put a fingerprint on it. We're going to learn more.
What are you talking about?
Yeah,
you lost me.
You want to learn more, you got to be at the Conservation Tillage Conference. We're also going to have as a keynote speaker Seth Watkins. He's an Iowa farmer, so okay, we got to bring up somebody from Iowa, Chris.
Yep, we got to train you. Got to educate you up here from what we do in Iowa.
God.
You know how we're doing it right down there all the time.
Oh, boy, here we go. Well, this might not be the highlight of the Conservation Tillage Conference, but still, it's worth attending. Seth is going to talk about a long-term investment in the land. It's all about working in harmony with the land around him. Strategic placement is key. Seth sees no conflict between profitability and environmental sustainability. Pinhook Farm is a little slice of paradise in the rolling hills of southwest Iowa, featuring rotational grazing, restricted wildlife areas, riparian buffers.
What was that again?
It's some kind of little slice of paradise.
Where was that located? Where was it?
The Pinhook Farm.
Where?
Paradise Rolling Hills is Southwest Iowa.
Southwest Iowa. Again,
That's the
we
good
are
part.
at the Tillage Conference.
Yeah.
Iowa.
Yeah.
Doing presentations, educating those folks around here. Again, I'm just pointing that out.
Well, let me finish what I was talking here. So this little slice of paradise, a lot like Stearns County, he's going to be talking about all kinds of stuff that he's done on his farm to live in harmony with his farm, his soils, and also capturing enough dollars off of his land to provide a living for his family. So if you want to participate in this, it's not cheap because it's a 2-day event. It also includes beer and bowl on Tuesday, December 18th from 5:30 to 10. And trust me, I will be there for that. And hopefully I'll have an opportunity to visit with our listeners here at Chasm on Tuesday, December 18th. And it starts on Tuesday at 8 o'clock with registration and goes all the way through Tuesday with the beer and bowl session that evening. And then Wednesday, it starts again at 8 o'clock. And a lot of folks stay overnight because they had beer, which I'd recommend. And Wednesday, it goes until about 3 o'clock with the keynote speakers wrapping it up at 3 o'clock. And the registration, if you're interested, do it soon. December 2nd, it'll increase. Before that, it's $140 for the 2 days, which includes lunch and the beer at the bowl session. And I know some Stearns County folks out there that know how to drink beer. And I think they got Busch Light on tap. So this is going to be awesome. Okay, and then after December 2nd, the cost increases to $180. So if you're interested in getting a conference, you can just call our office at 320-251-7800 extension 3, or you can go online. You can just do a search for Conservation Tillage Conference St. Cloud, or you can put in this little, you got your pencil here, your pen, your writing instrument. I'm going to give you the web address if you don't want to type that in or write it down and check it out later. It's www.digthectc.com. And there'll be a website there where you can register. And I guess we got a scholarship. I wanted Kelly just to cover this quickly. We have a limited supply of scholarships.
Yes, we do. So the sooner that you get registered, the better chances you'll have to be able to snatch up one of those scholarships. With our scholarships, you can save up to $100 on your registration. So a big chunk of that registration cost can be covered. And also, I believe Benton County also is offering scholarships through their office as well. So feel free to contact either of our offices to get that promo code and enter it in for your registration.
So there's no qualifying. You just enter a promo code.
Yep.
Good to go?
Yep.
Like a coupon.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. All right. All right.
Yeah, so we hope to see a lot of our Central Minnesota farmers at this conference. It's a unique opportunity to have that here in St. Cloud versus other areas of Minnesota or even in North Dakota. So please give it a consideration. I hope I made it sound interesting enough that you show up. And just the beer and bowl session itself would be worth showing up to visit with farmers. And that's what the whole point of the beer and bowl is. They have the trade show there. You can visit with people that have the equipment to help manage your crop residue. And also the planters that make sure the seed is placed in the right spot in the soil to maximize germination and your yield. Those folks will all be around in the beer and bowl session along with the farmers that spoke. So it's just a great opportunity to have a beer in a relaxed setting and have some fun. It's going to be right here at the Holiday Inn in St. Cloud, December 17th and 18th. It's time to take a break from what you guys have been putting through trying to get the harvest completed this year, and take a break and come on over and have a beer and learn about reducing tillage and taking that off your plate of things to do and having a beer and talking about it.
And one of the things, if you see something or hear something at that conference that is interesting to you and you want to try it or experiment with it on your own farming operation, we do have cost assistance or incentive payments to producers to try a lot of that stuff that they're going to be discussing at the tillage conference. The other thing is we also have a program called CSP, which is the Conservation Stewardship Program, and that'll give you a 5-year contract with NRCS to basically implement practices, again, that might be covered in the conservation tillage conference, and you would, you'd have them for 5 years, see how they work in your farming operation, and if they worked out for you, you could continue with them, and if they didn't, then you could just, after the end of the contract, then you could just try something different. So we have a lot of opportunities to work with you if you guys just want to come on in and check it out.
That sounds good. Do I got enough time to talk about this other?
Plenty of time.
All right, cool. I wanted to share with your listeners, I think a lot of folks that listen to Chasm also receive the Country Acres newspaper that comes out weekly. And last week, Friday, November 1st, on the cover it said Farming Today for Tomorrow. And on the cover is Mark Lefebvre, Stearns County Soil Water Conservation District Nutrient Management Specialist, along with the farmer that farms north of Cold Spring, Brandon Dingman. And we're working on a new crop, Kernza. That's intermediate wheatgrass. It's a perennial that has roots that go down 10 feet or more once it's established and mature. And that is just an amazing crop that we're trying to gain more value, and we're working in the Cold Spring area because they have a wellhead protection area. And in the wellhead protection area, there's a very diverse cropping systems from corn and soybeans and alfalfa to pasture and other crops. But we're seeing a slight increase in nitrates over time for the city of Cold Spring and their residents. So we would really like to see that trend the other way, where once you hit 10 part per million, then that's restricted by the EPA. That's causes problems with infants. You get the blue baby syndrome. So right now it's less than that, but it's not trending in the right direction. It kind of fluctuates, but it's kind of fluctuating a little bit upward. So we're working with Brandon to try to get this crop out there. And he was actually on a seed production field last year, about 20 acres of a new seed that was developed by the University of Minnesota Forever Green team. And the seed that was produced is called Minnesota Clearwater. They're trying to use lake names for all of the new Kernza varieties that are developed. And Clearwater is centrally Minnesota located. We're hoping that Kernza can remove any of the nitrates before it enters our drinking water supply and utilize that in its forage and seed development. And that was a seed production field last year that was harvested this year. Now this year, we took some of that seed and are working on a new project that was funded through the Environment and Natural Resources Trust Fund. We received a grant through those folks. These are your lottery dollars coming back to central Minnesota to help protect our resources. And this is a 3-phase project. We have the demonstration in Cold Spring, working with Brandon Dingman and another farmer. And then we also worked with Pat Shea and the city of St. Cloud and doing some demonstration work right by their wastewater treatment facility. And that water there goes downstream to the Twin Cities, and all the Twin City residents drink out of the Mississippi. And so we want to make sure that's clean. So that was phase one, is the demonstration component. Another phase was doing some research out at Westport at the Rosholt demonstration farm, working with Holly Kavork, the Pope SWCD manager, and Jake Youngers from the University of Minnesota Forever Green team, in identifying which crop does the best job of removing nitrates. And we're not looking at corn, soybeans. We're looking at alfalfa. We're looking at native prairie, and we're looking at Kernza. And we're going to be putting infiltrometers to take soil water, and then we'll analyze that soil water for nitrates below the rooting depth of these crops to see which one is the most efficient and effective at removing nitrates. So that's the second phase. And the third phase is working with the Ag Utilization Research Institute. You can't just grow a crop and think somebody's going to buy a cereal box of it. So we're working with them to help create the market and the products that people would like to use. Now, there is a Kernza cereal that has been created through General Mills. It was their Cascade, their organic division of their cereal product line. And they had a limited release this year, and they're looking at more Kernza in order to have it. So you got to get the crop out there. You got to have the product. It's a lot of work getting a new crop. And this is just so exciting that we have this happening right here in Stearns County. And we're part of it. We're so happy to have Brandon Dingman and other interested farmers in having this growing on their farm. And there's a little bit of risk associated with it. We're using some of the grant dollars to alleviate some of that risk so that they feel comfortable in working with us and taking that risk in trying a new crop. So it's just a very exciting project. You're going to hear more about it, Brad. We're hoping to have a field day next summer out at the site so farmers and residents in Stearns County in central Minnesota can come and take a look at the crop. And AURI is also looking at using the straw for feed for livestock. They're also looking at using the seed for not only flour, like making cereal, but also like beer. They have made some beer. I've tried some beer. Beaver Island, right downtown St. Cloud, has experimented with a small batch. Is much too small for me. I like to see bigger batches, big batches of beer. Oh, beer. And we're going to continue to grow that. And Third Street has expressed some interest in working with us on the product. And AURI is helping to work that, the Ag Utilization Research Institute, another partner on the project. So wait to see more, Brad.
All right. Got about 2 minutes.
2 minutes? Oh.
Final call.
I'm going to slip in here. I don't know if folks remembered that we had opened up an opportunity for you to ask questions of the staff. And we have unfortunately not actually received any questions. And I cannot believe that after all this time listening to Dennis, that no one has a question on what he just got done saying. So
especially those nuclei. What is it? Nuclei?
Radionuclides.
Nucleides.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so when you have questions, if you want to submit them, they are on the Facebook page for the Stearns County, or you can call the radio station, or you can call the office, either way. And we will basically address those questions on the next opportunity we have here on the radio and deal with any kind of comments that you might have. So please feel free to visit the Facebook page. It is a link right as you open it up.
Facebook. That's our website.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know. I'm just letting them know that it's there if they want to ask a question. That would be my first question is where is it located? So there you go.
So if you Google Stearns County,